Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to
Today
our
we're
channel.
watching Steins Gate 0, Season 1, Episode 11. Last episode at the end. Big moment.
It was.
Maho finally told Okabe about the laptop, what could be on it,
And then...
who has it, potentially. Somebody that she trusts.
Yeah, but we think that possibly it could still be there at this point in time, but that doesn't mean that by the time we race there, it still will be. I found last episode exceedingly difficult to not just jump right in because I'm so excited for Maho to be told more.
Me too.
Even though we know everything and we've experienced everything so many times, it being explained to a new character, and specifically Maho, I'm all ears. I can't wait.
They need to sit Maho down on the couch and show her Steins Gate. You know?
Have her do a watch through of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's open Pandora's box and see what happens.
Be opened.
Ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Have you ever seen Stranger Things?
I think a little bit of the first season.
Oh?
This is where Amane works.
I'm thinking it's where Amane works.
One of his little side jobs! Thank the freaking Lord. This computer is much cuter than the one he has in the lab.
Wow.
Thank goodness.
I feel like an idiot.
I also feel like, you know, for a split second, I was like, oh, I bet Daru could get into it. But never in a million years would I think that Maho would have been like, oh, I know someone. I have a secret person that does it. And it not actually be a secret to us.
Is Daru's voice actor Panda from Jujutsu Kaisen? Oh. I want her to be here. Yes.
Protecting her from something. Just like Ruka. Yes! I need popcorn. Why does she like the car commercial?
I wanted to hear it.
So they're at gonna be a Daru's store.
Love the score. Oh.
分かってる。そうなってしまう可能性が否定できないってことなんだ。どうするん？
I don't think they're gonna be given a choice with all those guys getting up and the location on the map.
この PC は破棄しましょう。
いや嬢さん依頼料はどうなる？エロゲ予約しちゃったんだよね。
Poor Daru.
出たな。
Store camera, store camera, turn around to the store camera.
何？
The
まさ
helmet
かこの場所を
person.
嗅ぎつけて
ここは放棄するよ。二人と
逃げるって。
ももう店内にいるんだぞ。
Secret passageway.
こっち
Oh shit! I didn't say like escape on it.
なのか。ここ結構お気に入りだったんだけど。
Nice, Daru.
It's a Mane, right? Or is it? Oh no!
ここはさっきのビルの裏側
Reyes.
だ。いや嬢さん。
Voice changer?
Voice changer. Reyes. GD Reyes.
目的はこれか。まず手を離せ。
彼女と交換。
ダメよ。渡しちゃダメ。
おとなしくしててくれ。これは脅しじゃない。
でも
こいつは世界中のハッカーがサジを投げなセキュリティで守られている。危害を加えれば永久にわからなくなるぞ。
信じろと。
好きにしろ。解放すればこれは渡す。リンの安全が保証されたらあと教えよう。
Oh shit! What a
世界線は
bluff.
変わっていない。俺も誰もここで死ぬことはない。信用できないなら人質になる。だから
I'll be your
彼女を解放しろ。
hostage.
ダメさん。
さあ、彼女が先だ。
Two sides. We have a wound. We have a wound on her.
The
The-
computer?
Is that the Russians? The others were the Americans trying to get what the Russians have, and that was the Russians.
大丈夫か。
ええ。
I can't
でも
take the little
本当に
remote
平気な
thing
の？
seriously.
病院に行った方が。
手を開いて。
あれ、おかしいわね。開かないわ。
Just a piece of it.
これは。
いつの間に。ごめんね。ごめんね。守ってあげられなくて。ごめん、クリス。ごめんね。本当に平気にゃ？
足元待ってるし。
I thought I'd be happy that Maho knew.
まとまってても消毒した方がいいにゃ。リと絆創膏。
には関係していない。ということはアメリカ、ダーバカストラト4来たのがロシアか。
それにしてもマホにゃ一番ゆっくりだにゃ。まだ信じられない。
Wow.
あれ、まずい。極度の緊張と急激な緩和で。お湯加減は。にゃ、どうしたにゃ。大変にゃ。マホにゃがマホにゃが。
Oh,
Oh
no.
no, this is gonna be embarrassing. No, the towel! No!
ちょっとエリさん。不可抗力だというのは分かっているし。
Kurisu would have murdered Okabe.
そういう時は分かった。
She would be like, you better forget what you saw.
裁判に電極ぶっ刺して。
Hippocampus.
向こうでもそんなことを言っていたのか。
補助連中に切れた時くらいだけど。
想像に固くないな。
わよ。いざとなったら本気でやり。
行くよ。士官は
What of you?
一時的なものみたいだから。じゃあ。
岡部さん、少しだけいてほしいって言ったら。
寝たら帰るから横になっているといい。
本当にごめんなさい。
ことがあった後だもんな。
I would trust
誰だって
him.
怖くなるさ。
それもそうだけど、サリエリって嬉しかった。後悔したと思う。モーツァルトが死んで。
Wow.
死者の墓を暴くようなことをするな。ああ、そうなのかもって。PC を手にした時、クリスの思いだって。
But she was the one that
受
wanted
け継が
it.
なきゃって伝えていかなきゃ。その瞬間、自分が苛立ってやるって。絶対中を、せめてそのくらいは。
だからこだわったのか。
私の力で暴いてどうだってはサリ リエリのことなんか気にもかけていない。無邪気に曲を作っていただけなのに。
最後は PC を破棄することに賛成してくれた。
それは岡部さんが。
それに流していた。守ってあげられなくて。ヒアジョーさんの本心なんじゃないか。
いかぶりすぎよ。私は。
I think I can understand why everyone falls for him.
PC の破片を握りしめたりしない。俺はそう思う。俺がいるとなかなか眠れないだろうから向こうに行ってるよ。だったら呼んでくれ。
岡部さんはクリスとタイムリープマシンを作って同じ2週間を過ごしてきたのよね。岡部さんとクリスって。いいえ、なんでもないわ。すみなさい。
おやすみ。
Maybe she wouldn't want to have feelings for him if Kurisu really did.
I would rather Hyo and Kyoma. That's my personal taste.
He's a part of that man. Like, that is what makes Okabe just all around so lovable.
タロは研究所にはいつ頃来れるのかな？
パンドリア大学の研究室に招くつもり。
Whoa.
教授は
ネース・ヤング・アインシュタインを放っておく。見えません。
He's innocent. He's an innocent man. I've cleared him.
勉強して行けるように頑張ります。
オカリンが行きたいなら
Wow.
マユシーは大賛成だよ。ユキさん、手どうしたんです？包丁でちょっと切っちゃって。
持つ。
じゃあお願いします。
できることは全てやった。ヒアジョーさんは気にしなくていい。
デートの相談かね。
なんでそうなるんですか？
それよりアンデウスのアクセス権が解除される。最後に挨拶しておかなくていい
ですね。じゃあ一言だけ。
何？
一応挨拶と思う。
したわよ。ならいいですけど。
お別れを言ってるんだろうな。俺は。
話し相手になってくれたことには感謝してる。に来るかもしれないんでしょ？一応最近までは覚えておいてあげる。は？なんぞそれ。
顔が真っ赤だぞ。
教授、そろそろ。
おお、そうか。
Judy Reyes didn't come to see them off.
わかってる。来るといいわね。心の底から。
What's the score?
岡部さん。いろいろあり
The
がとう。
corner of his eyes red.
あなたは命の恩人よ。いいえ、本心よ。本当に感謝している。待ってるわ。向こうで。
こうしてレスキネン教授とヒアジョー。
Wow.
また時は進み出す。変わることなく。
Without anything changing.
ことなく進んでゆく。
That's only one of the. Oh! Ah, ha, ha, ha! They were faking us out with Amane. They were faking us out. She's just a klutz.
Where do we go from here?
Nothing changes.
Okay, that was Steins Gate Zero, Season 1, Episode 11. Wow. Rip computer. I'm glad Maho knows. If I'm honest, I didn't think Maho would go back to America. I thought that I knew it was on the table and it was supposed to happen. I thought something was going to come up or time travel was going to be involved or something where it wouldn't have removed her from the story.
Right. I definitely thought that too, but I think I might have been more so my desire to have Maho continue and maybe be more of like a helping Okabe figure things out role. But this was exactly what needed to happen to release her, you know, from the narrative, to be able to give her permission to leave the narrative. She, that processing of the laptop and that final conversation with Okabe is exactly what she probably needed to forgive herself for any of those feelings she had toward Kurisu that she views as negative or selfish, and to truly, you know, grieve that and continue to work on Amadeus.
Yeah. What do you think's next for the series, though? Do you think it's like any sort of time skip? Do you think that we can continue with this like plot point without Maho involved?
So if nothing changes, then that means we still haven't stopped World War III.
Yeah.
So that means the future, we're still going toward a future of World War III. Kaguri still exists here. Suzuha's still here. That butting of heads of Suzuha wanting to take action is not going to cease. And if anything, the sitting around is probably going to continue to bother her. And if nothing changes, then we'll just be seeing for ourselves what World War III, the actual bigger movements of it.
Yeah.
You know, is that what Steins Gate Zero is supposed to show us? Is the timeline where we actually get to see from start to finish how it happens and how it gets there and what it's actually like? We've only ever seen blips of what it's like from each of the timelines, and it could be really intriguing for us to actually see the completed story of this point to World War III.
I mean, we didn't get a great look really at all from what I remember of the video of Okabe talking to himself.
How
right?
old was he in it?
Yeah. And we need to get to that point within Steins Gate Zero.
We know that
right?
he's not going to look a crazy amount older because we've seen what Mayuri looks like and what Daru looks like. They just look like, you know, themselves but slightly older.
That's
it's not
true.
like a gray hair, much has changed situation. So it definitely could be that that video was from, you know, during the events of World War III. And I would have never pictured that they would have just told us a continuous line story until that end.
Yeah.
But at this point in the narrative, that would make sense to me.
We'll see. I loved in telling Maho about everything. The prerequisite that was that she needed to agree to not saving Kurisu on the table at all. I loved including that narratively, and I'm glad that Okabe thought of it. I felt like in telling Daru what his reasons for not involving Maho in it, that was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, this is the one person who might be like he was at the very beginning, stubbornly wanting to go over and over and over and over and over again herself. Because there was probably that worry there that she's a scientist, she's an experimenter, she wants to figure things out for herself. Is she really going to take your whole word for it, or is she going to want to try herself at it just to see if maybe she can fix things? So there needed to be a conversation prior.
Do you think that there's any chance Maho accidentally discovers time travel in her endeavors?
I think that the issue would arise because Maho still will be interacting with Amadeus, and Amadeus did meet Okabe.
Yeah.
Therefore, the meeting of Okabe is what Kurisu relates to her truly unlocking and figuring things out, was through meeting him and talking to him. And whatever she wrote in that paper would be easily accessible to the AI Amadeus to come up with.
Yeah.
And if we have Judy Reyes, it's Judy, right? Judy, not Julie. Judy Reyes going back to America with Amadeus, with Leskinen, and with Maho, it could be possible that she gets let in on talking to Amadeus and working with Amadeus and tries to craft the paper from this. Wouldn't you go to the source as best you could? If you couldn't get the actual written paper that the Russians have, then you would go to the next best thing that she has available, which is the AI Kurisu that you can maybe then spark to come up with these ideas. You can get a little bit closer. And I think that would possibly also lead to a path where Okabe needs to go to America.
I could see that. God, Okabe. I didn't expect the invite.
We have an invite.
Leskinen, yeah.
So more reason why that might be what happens. Because that or everything is settled and nothing happens. And we see just this continuous life of everyone kind of being on edge, but life is moving on like normal. And then we see the whole world go up in flames.
Yeah.
I'm not sure which choice they would make out of those two.
I didn't expect that it was going to be Daru. I had no idea, and they didn't even know. Maho didn't even know it was Daru.
I was feeling really strongly for a second that it was Amane. Not that that would have cleared her of any suspicion I had, but because we know that character is smart and knows some of the things that Daru would know, or has interests in things that are a little more on the technical side, the science side, not just a cosplay friend of Mayuri's. And they really were having us be suspicious of her as the possible American or person that was working with the Americans. But she was just there to create that kind of uncertainty within us.
One of my favorite parts of the episode was when Kiyoma first said, no, don't do anything with the laptop, don't try anymore, stop now, it will bring the end of the world. Because if I'm Daru there, I'm like, holy shit, I'm seeing a little bit of Hyoin come out again. And then his response was just like, lame, like it would have been back then. I love that. And I also love that Daru, on his escape route, has a poster, I think, that says Escape Man on it. Like, that's the perfect Daru thing to do. I adore it.
I like that he already, had a plank on top of, one of the buildings.
To run over. It was awesome.
This whole changing of things has been incredibly intriguing and interesting, and I'm definitely for it. Kaguri's definitely still a major question mark for me.
What the
going
fuck
forward.
was the commercial?
With the car?
Yeah.
What is it about the car?
An interesting soundtrack was playing during it too. You really like that commercial, don't you, Kaguri? Huh? Yeah. All it was
a car driving down a road. Either that car means something to her, that road means something to her. Like, she had been traveling a lot in a car during that time period that we didn't know where she was.
We don't really even know what the commercial was about, right?
She was born in a car.
We don't know anything about the commercial, though. We only saw the end of it.
Context of who's in the car. Is it literally just
what are they trying to sell?
A car?
Is it a company? Like a specific... I don't know. It obviously has to do with what Kaguri was up to. You know? I'd assume so. Then we get some of the action sequences happening, which is very scary to me. Because it's like... It hits a different vein than anything Steins Gate kind of delved into. Because it was all about, like, okay... You know... Mayuri dying over and over again... Okabe found a way always to get back and change timelines and go back, you know?
So that he wouldn't really truly die. And as he says in this interaction is like, Daru and I, like, if we die here...
We're done. We can't do anything. And then Maho grabs the piece of the... It felt like, at first I was like, okay, you're not wanting to open your hand and show him that you took this. But it seemed like it was more like... without thought, like a subconscious.
She didn't even realize she'd grabbed it. I will say, just a quick question: what do you think, Professor Reyes? What do you think she would have done there? Like, do you think she would have actually harmed Maho, or do you think she was kind of glad to be given the opportunity to have the laptop and not have to harm Maho?
I think she would have. Like, I put her in the same vein, like. Obviously very different, but like the whole like Moeka thing, that she was willing and needed to do anything like for her mission and goal, I imagine that Judy would have as well. That entire sequence with Maho and Ferris and Okabe in the shower was something.
The timing with it was really great, comedic. They literally just like cut it right when the towel like starts to slip.
Yeah.
Which was the perfect way to cut that. It was so great.
And
we immediately see Okabe's face and we're like, we're never gonna tell Kurisu about this. She doesn't need to know.
Like, what would Kurisu do there? Like, imagine, like, remember the shower scene with Mayuri and Kurisu? Oh my god. That's the kind of stuff that I always miss Kurisu in the series, like, at, too. It's like, her yelling and interacting with Kiyoma was peak.
Right, and having this character of Maho is the only way we could have had somewhat of a similar energy in the series continuing. But now that Maho's going back to America, who's the tsundere? Like, who is he going to be heavily interacting with going forward?
I don't know. I don't think a time skip is out of the question.
I don't necessarily think a time skip is out of the question. I'm still torn between, are we going to be trying to go to America for some reason still to interact with Amadeus? Or I don't know. Or are we just going to be seeing into the future of the stuff that happens to bring about World War III, and then come to a point where Okabe makes a video.
I loved Maho quoting the electrode stabbed into your hippocampus, and then hearing that Kurisu apparently would always say that in regards to her professors when she'd get irritated with them.
And they would be worried about that. Like, what if she snapped and actually did it?
Another one of my favorite moments this episode was Okabe walking out of the room to hear Maho allude and almost ask about if him and Kurisu were something in the other world lines. And I wonder, okay, if she knows the truth, what would be the reason of reluctancy? Because there, I think, could be several or different ones. Like, would it take step into the territory of the Salieri thing? Repeating.
She just wants to get in. She just wants to open it.
Yeah, she will do the same thing that Amadeus did.
Does she want something that Kurisu had?
Yeah.
Is that why it's or is it she is interested in him, but she keeps herself from prying anymore because if it is true, then she wouldn't want to go after the guy that Kurisu was in love with.
Yeah. God, I love.
And she acts extremely platonic after that, so.
I cannot believe that Okabe was invited. It makes me so happy.
Just real quick before we leave that scene with Maho, one of my favorite moments of this episode was when Okabe was like, well, you cried. You agreed to destroy the laptop, and then you were crying.
Yeah.
And I was really happy by that, how he was speaking there. I think that writing of Okabe has made him so that he could be a character that is able to comfort others. We had in Steins Gate, a few characters have some things ripped away from them that they had wished for and wanted, and he was able to be what they needed in that moment. A sense of, I understand what you're going through, I'm so sorry. Just knowing that someone felt sorry and that someone understood what sacrifice they were each making.
Yeah.
He has a really great way of knowing how to be vulnerable with people and knowing how to speak to people. And he's learned that. We've watched him learn how to be vulnerable with people. We
just don't get the twist at the end of it, you know? Like, in Steins Gate, it was like, okay, I'm here, I'm gonna, unveil and, kind of break character to show you my understanding, and then, or do things in character to show you my understanding, and then go back to the character, you know? Mm-hmm. And in this, it's just like, okay, you can actually see how much he's
completely dropped the whole character. So there's no switching back and forth or slightly bringing down the character just to make sure. At the time, on top of the jungle gym in Steins Gate, when he's talking with Kurisu, I believe about her dad, he drops the character for a few statements, a few sentences, a few seconds, but it's enough for her to feel truly, listened to and understood. And honestly, I get why all of these girls are into him. I get it.
I have to be honest, though. I really miss the character. I really miss it. And part of it was probably...
I like this one. I like his character, his delusional
I do too.
Kyoma, but I really like...
I really like this one too, but I loved what the interactions and funny moments that it bred, you know?
But it was more fun with Kurisu.
I agree with that.
And I feel like in a story where she's not around, delusional Kyoma wouldn't have been as fun.
But I mean, delusional Kyoma was delusional before Kurisu was ever there.
Yeah, but when we start Steins Gate, she's introduced pretty early.
I know.
And she makes him that much more entertaining.
Don't you want to see Maho's reaction to Hyomi and Kyoma?
A little bit. That could have been funny. But I don't know if she would have given him the same time of day that Kurisu did. They are different people after
I agree.
All. I think she would have been like, you are too weird. I'm going back to America.
All right. That's all I have you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we hope to see you next time.